All right, so let's get the other one going. And are we, yeah, all right, you can join, no problem. All right, so the plan for right now is to do a quick demo of how to, at least for make the part files. For the puzzle cube, I'll give you a head start or a foreshadowing or a preview. I think that's a better word for what your assembly is going to look like. So before you even start, you kind of need to decide on whether you want to go for the individual block look or the all-together piece look, the one piece look. It doesn't really matter. I think this way is probably, I don't know. I don't know which is easier, but the idea this way is sort of the more basic way, I think, as far as understanding how assemblies work, because this is just a regular assembly where it's one assembly with 5 different part files. Each piece is a separate, each piece of your puzzle cube is its own full part file. And then you do an assembly just like we did for the mini train. The other way, each piece is its own assembly. So this is your final puzzle cube will be an assembly of assemblies. And each piece is an assembly with several, however many there are, of individual blocks. So the step is to first make one block that, you know, has whatever chamfers or fillets that you want. And then you make an assembly of those blocks for each piece. And then you make an assembly of the assemblies. And you can see over here in the browser bar, the elements or components of this final assembly are all assemblies. So it's your call on that. The key for whichever way is when you're in the part file, this is where you need to change the color, not in the assembly or sub-assembly or anything like that. The other key is every dimension is a multiple of 0.75. If you went ahead and did this with different dimensions, you need to change it because later on we're going to be doing drawing files, which the whole point is that they have the real dimensions. Even if they're all very simple, they need to have whatever multiple of 0.75. So every dimension you put in is either going to be 0.75, 1.5, or 2.25, because it's either, there's no direction where it's more than 3 blocks. And so there's that. All right. So let's make just a simple one of these. If you're starting from here, which is not, you won't have this exploded view of all the things, but this is just to show you how my version, my example of yellow sheet, you know, active inspire highlighter covering started out. And so for each of these, I need to make a part file. And I'm going to start with just the regular one part for each color. And in this case, I'll start with green is probably the easiest one, or green or pink, they're about the same. But green is 3 blocks this way and 3 blocks this way, or 2 more, however you want to think about it, for an L. And again, if you're still struggling understanding how the 3 levels of your yellow sheet work together, this, even though these 3 are touching all right now and these are not, it's still a 5 block piece that looks like this. There's no difference between the ones going up and sideways. So let's just go ahead and make a new part file. So we're going to use the default version of part, or the default version, yeah, the default version of part file. And just like always, we need to start with a new two-dimensional sketch. Which, did I lose my good toolbar? There we go. Okay, so start 2D sketch. It doesn't really matter the plane. I suppose XY. And we'll just get a regular 2-point rectangle. And let's do, because it goes 3 across the bottom, we'll make it 2.25 this way and 0.75 this way. And then another rectangle for the 2 more that go up. Looks kind of like that. And this is a further 1.5 for a total of 3 blocks this way and 0.75. And as long as you, why does that look weird? I think that's right. As long as you started the first one, snap to 0, 0, it should say fully constrained. So we'll finish sketch and extrude and choose both of our rectangles, at least for this one. And we only want to extrude 0.75. Okay. And like I said, in the part files where you want to change the color so that it's persistent. And you do that by changing the drop down that says default, not the one that says generic. This is more about material. This is about appearance. If you have a weird resolution, the default, the color drop down will be hidden behind the double arrows to the right of the color wheel. And but most of you should have a good enough resolution on your screen in order to see default. And you choose a color. It needs to be something close to the color that's on your yellow sheet. And they are in alphabetical order, but it's kind of useless because like that green is under smooth, under S for smooth, dark green. And I missed the click. But there is that. The only rule I would say, oh wait, hold on, S for smooth, dark forest green. Wait, is that one? What color did I have? Was the other one? Why does that look like weird? Smooth. They changed the color. Green. Maybe it's under just dark green. Yeah, okay, that's close enough. The only rule I would say is you can't use any of the transparent or translucent colors or materials. It makes it super difficult to do assemblies if you choose like glass or tinted glass or indoor pool. These are interesting for other applications, but I promise you it's not worth it. And I also, by not worth it, I mean not allowed. So you're going to choose a color for, this is my green piece. I need to choose something in the green family. And then I'm just going to save it as green. Okay, that is the file name. It will take care of the fact that it's a part file. And there is that. Okay, for something that's a little more complicated, like this blue one, you need to be sure that you're putting it in the correct direction, because this blue one, let's see, open this. This blue one, it looks like this, and it would be very easy to make the mirror version of that like this, and it would be very easy to make an assembly either in blocks or regular that is like this, but it won't work. Obviously, I mean, it looks a lot like it, but it is not it, and it won't fit in the assembly, and it'll either stick out or have interference. Not a huge deal, but it's still a thing. Give me a second here. Let's get that back where it's supposed to go. Okay. For something like the blue one, let's just go ahead and make that part. Let's see this. Okay, so my blue one, if you have a complex piece, I actually have plastic snap cubes that you can build, and they're going to be a lot more useful when we get to actually building out of wood to make sure that you don't glue pieces. Like mirror version, like this orange one, it would be very easy to make the mirrored version, and looking at it, you might not even be able to tell that it's the wrong direction until you get to an assembly. But something like this blue one, it is, you got to do it at least 2 extrusions. We did the green one there in 1 extrusion. But the blue one, I can make a square that is 2 blocks each way. And another rectangle that's actually up on this side, just the way I'm looking at it. And this is 1 block by, this is 1 block. And we'll finish sketch. Extrude, choose that, and extrude 0.75. And this one, the way it's oriented on, come on now. Yeah. Let's try again. The way that it's oriented has the extra one that sticks out below here. So it's actually right in this area. So I'm going to put a sketch there and a rectangle. And this one, I'll actually get snaps to exactly halfway each way, which is like there. Oh no, there by, hold on, is that right? Whatever, still need to put dimensions on it, 0.75. It wouldn't be a hard snap anyway, it'd be a soft snap. And finish sketch and extrude this bit. It's already 0.75 from the last one. And this is what my blue piece looks like, even though it is not oriented the way that it is in the assembly, which is going to be the case. And then I would choose a color, not clear blue. How about wall paint glossy? That's fine. And I would save it as the file name is blue. Okay. Okay, so that's what you're going to do for if you're making them as one piece, 1 part file per piece. If you're making each of your pieces a sub-assembly of blocks, your first step is just to make a block of each color. And you're going to do save as. So we're going to make 1 block, and this is where you can add different, fanciness to it to make it so that the assemblies look like separate blocks, or the final assembly and the pieces look like separate blocks. So we're going to make 1 square that is, a cube, 0.75 in each direction. But the problem is that, not the problem, if you don't add anything to it, if you don't like cut off the edges or round over the edges at all, when you put your blocks together in a sub-assembly, it'll look the same. Okay, so the whole point of doing it this way, the second way, is so that the assemblies look like individual blocks. And so in order to do that, you need to do either a fillet or a chamfer. A chamfer knocks off edges. So you need to choose every edge, which pretty much anywhere that lights up. And there's actually, they should be, how many edges are there? 8, 12 edges? How many edges does a cube have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that right? 12 edges? So Yeah, needs to be all the way around. And you probably want, this looks a little bit too exaggerated. I don't know, 0.05, 0.15, no wait, 0.05. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Maybe a little more, your call. And it'll end up looking like that. The other choice is fillet, which I think you can choose the entire extrusion in one click. But again, something smallish will make it look a little more realistic. And that's it for this part file. You're going to save this, if this was gray, as gray, and hit save, which I kind of need to do in order to prove something or to demonstrate something. So we'll save it as gray and hit save. Okay, there I have one gray block. Now I need to change the color to another color, another one of my colors, which, what are the colors? I have pink one. Okay, so there's a pink one. And now I'm going to do file, save as. If you do save, it's just going to write over the one that you already have. Save as makes a copy. So this one I'd call pink and hit save. Okay, now I have a file called pink. And now I'm going to do save as to make another copy. Well, I guess I can go ahead and change the color. Do I have a red? I have an orange. There we go. And remember, not save. I want to make a copy, so I'm going to do save as. And I'll call this one orange. Orange. And I'll do that. I need one block of each color. Let's go part files. Is this where I saved it? Okay. So I need one block for each of my 5 colors. And then that's it for the part files. Remember, you got to do save as, otherwise it's not going to work. And then in order to make the sub assemblies, you're going to make a new assembly. And you're going to place, give me a second here. Place the one of the blocks and pay attention to this. And this is for any assembly, folks. Look at this. If your first component doesn't come in as grounded, it means you're missing missing a setting, and I'll help you get it. But, or I'll just show you right now. The setting is called place and ground first component at origin. So under tools, application options, assembly, it is called place and ground first component at origin. That means when you open an assembly, the first part that comes in will be grounded, and you need at least one part to be grounded so that when you constrain things to it, it's locked in place. You can see there's like a little push pin right here. Okay, and so I have one. I need a total of 5 green blocks. So there's one, it gave me automatically, and I'm going to sort of put them roughly in the right location. The way this is going to work is each block is going to get 3 constraints on it because of 3 dimensions. And everything, the first one's going to be attached to the, or rather, the grounded one. The first one you constrain, you'll constrain any one of them to the grounded one, and then those will be locked in place, and then constrain the next one, and so on. So everything is being, the first one's grounded, and the rest are going to be locked to the one that's grounded, so they'll be locked. Okay, so the 3 constraints, this is another key fact. It was sort of the way we did the straight track for mini train, is it's going to be 3 constraints of mate or flush. And let's go ahead and flush the 2 top faces. And you can hit OK, but then you have to open the tool back up again. I'm going to flush these 2. And if I have 2, it should only move in one direction. And if I grab it, it does only move in that one dimension. And So in order to lock these together, I'm going to mate this face to this face. And now neither of these should move. And I'll quickly go ahead and do the other ones. Let's flush tops, fronts, and mate these two pieces. And then the other ones, constrain, let's flush the front to the front and the side to the side. And now if you're ever not sure which way the third one goes or the third constraint goes, grab the thing that still moves and see the direction it still moves. In this case, we want to mate this face to that face. And we'll just keep going this to this. Flush that to that. So it frequently will just be like flush, flush, mate, or mate. I mean, depending on where it goes, mate, it just depends. But it's always going to be 3. There we go. And once you have the assembly, you're going to save that as green assembly. And once you have that for each of your parts, that's a good place to stop. We'll talk about full assemblies next time. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to stop the recording there.